In terms of implementation, it's a fairly simple process, really. We need to approve one variation of these organizational structure concepts, submit an ordinance creating a parking authority or commission or a city department or whichever option we go with to city council. Following authorization, we finalize the parking facility or parking administrator position description and begin recruitment. And then upon hiring that person, we begin working on the action implementation plan. A lot of these things have very detailed documents that have been provided to the city in terms of management agreements, draft sample ordinances, position descriptions, implementation plans, all kinds of things that have been in there. So you've got the tools in your pocket. We organize our implementation plan kind of on what would happen the first month of this employee's hire, the first 3 months, first 6 months of the first year. And we have just basically the synopsis here of what the goals for the first year would be. And we'll try to, this will wrap things up here, but we would like to see them make significant progress on consolidating on-street, off-street, and parking enforcement activities under a single department, and make recommendations regarding departmental staffing needs once we've kind of gotten a handle on that integrated structure. Again, it's my thought that we probably wouldn't need really to hire any additional staff. But there may be new program ideas that come up that might require something long-term. I would like to see a safety and security audit and identify as all of any security or risk management concerns as the new director stepping in here. I think that's always an important thing to be sensitive to. I would like to review all the existing parking management agreements and develop recommendations regarding possible consolidation of multiple contracts under a single contract. If appropriate, I would like to define, develop effective working relationships with downtown stakeholders and work collaboratively to resolve the major operational issues. Develop a comprehensive parking facilities maintenance plan. This is a really important piece. This is maintenance of parking facilities. There's always a pay me now or pay me a lot more later proposition. Parking systems should be setting aside money into maintenance reserves to make sure that those facilities can be maintained at a fairly high level. And if you ignore it and defer maintenance year after year after year, eventually it's going to cost you a lot more to repair those facilities. So having a good maintenance plan is critical. Development of a defined parking planning function and being a more active partner in downtown planning efforts, I think is critical, and I think having this expertise when you start looking at projects like Harrison Square or any new project downtown would be very important. I would like to see a market rate survey done, just to look at parking rates. I'm not necessarily recommending raising rates. I just think it's important to understand where you stand locally and regionally regarding parking rates, and then trying to set some kind of rate setting guidelines. This would also be where we would evaluate validation program alternatives, like the first hour free program, something like that, just to be considered. But again, you need to do your homework and understand what the financial impacts of those programs are before you decide to launch into them. We need to develop, if we're going to integrate all these departments together, we need a consolidated parking financial statement and monthly financial management reporting package to really show us where parking is as a discrete entity in terms of having a defined budget. And also for capital projects. Review and evaluate the scope of future parking operations, including the evaluation of on-street enforcement responsibilities. Begin development of a parking system marketing and branding program. One of the things I really like to do is produce an annual parking report. It does a lot of very positive things for you. Not only does it document the state of things on an ongoing basis, but it also kind of gives you an opportunity to promote some accomplishments of how the parking system is helping the downtown meet its strategic goals and align its policies with the larger community goals. On an ongoing basis, you need to keep looking at your parking supply demand analysis. That's just a piece of the planning effort. We talked about the marketing plan and implementation strategy for a possible first hour free program if desired. One of the things that we have seen in other communities that have been very effective, and it's important to these other communities for a variety of reasons, is to shift from these single space meters, if you know them now, to multi-space meters. Multi-space meters are becoming kind of the new standard. helps with your downtown streetscape enhancements. It basically declutters the streetscape is one of the arguments. But it's also a little more customer friendly because you don't have to have change in your pocket every time you pull up to a meter. You can pay with credit cards or debit cards or smart cards. And you get receipts for parking on street, which some people really like. So it's actually seen as a real downtown customer service enhancement. But we've also seen parking revenues increase without having to raise rates by going to these kind of systems, which I think is important. Comprehensive marketing plan and implementation of maybe this new license plate recognition technology, and I think that this falls more in the category of us being able to provide more efficient and effective service, but also more consistency over a broader area of parking enforcement without having to necessarily add more staff or more cost. It's a little bit of investment in the technology up front, but in Fort Collins, for example, it paid for itself in 9 months. So it's the kind of investment that pays back very quickly, but also provides a much higher level of consistency and support. And there's also lots of ancillary benefits regarding other public safety features as we talked about.